Hi, it's Dan from Investing from the Sofa. It's November 2022 and I'm going to do a couple of videos on the housing market. I'm going to do one now and one in 6 months because I think the figures from the ONS are going to be quite different. But what I'd like to give you first is my own opinion. As someone who's owned a house or houses for over 40 years, I just have a feeling that things might start to go south slightly, and my reasoning for this is based on the cost of living crisis, how much it costs to just exist in this country at the moment. So for example, one of the things that I believe drives the housing market quite strongly is the first time buyer. Now the first time buyer fuels the price at the bottom for everyone on the market. It keeps the market buoyant. But the problem is at the moment is that these guys, whether they're partners, single, are living in rented property, living with their parents, they're probably paying rent or contributing to the household. The household or the rental property that they're in, the bills are going up. Gas and electricity is going up. Travelling to work is going up. Like I say, the rent or helping your parents in contributing to the cost of running a house is going up. So when you take all them factors into account, where you were probably saying, well, I've got £700 a month or more or less to service the debt of a mortgage, that £700 mortgage a year ago has probably now gone to £1,000, for argument's sake. Then you say to yourself, but actually I can't afford £700 anymore because I've got all these extra costs. I can actually only afford to service a £500 mortgage. So you see, I'm not looking at the interest rate, I'm just looking at what it costs to live. So when we look at the mortgage, what we're seeing is a steady increase in the cost, which will be your biggest cost when you move into a house, as things are at the moment. So how do these people get into the market? The answer is they don't. And I think that is what will bring the house prices down to a more reasonable level. How far they drop, I don't know. I can only say from my own experience, when I owned a property in the 1980s in London, 25% came straight off the top within 6 months. It was really scary. I went into negative equity, which is something I don't think any of the banks want to be associated with at the moment. Hence, I think they'll tighten up their lending criteria because it brought nothing but negative news for them. So as you can see, I think that we're a few years away, this is my own personal opinion, from the house market becoming stable. One of the big contributing factors as well, on top of the cost of living crisis, is the fact that for the last decade or more, we have been involved or actively involved in just printing money. They called it quantitative easing. And that has probably contributed to our high inflation. And one of the reasons of the mortgages going up in cost is that the Bank of England will fight inflation. And I can tell you from past experience, they will fight it very, very aggressively. They will take no prisoners. And they will put interest rates up, regardless of the pain it will cause people, because that is one of their main jobs, to protect the British economy. So I thought what I would do for the second part of the video is show some government graphs. I'm using government graphs, www.gov.uk. I'll leave a link down below so you can find the two sites that I went to. They're both government sites. I will only trust government figures with regards to property and money. I will not go to any other source because basically I don't trust them, is the truth of it. So as you can see, at the moment, house prices are being held stable by the fact that the number of transactions haven't really changed. You can see where we had a bit of an up and downer with the COVID, pre-COVID and after, but it's starting to flatten out. I think the reason for this is because the effects of the interest rate rises haven't hit home yet, where people are basically swapping their mortgages out, and also the bills are just really starting to bite. Got Christmas, so there's still a bit of a feel-good factor. So I think that after Christmas and onwards, we will start seeing the transaction graph come down. That's why we'll have another look at this in 6 months. Back the graph up, I've looked at the UK House Pricing Index, which is again it's on the ONS site, .gov.uk. So that's the Office of National Statistics. And as you can see, really, we've had quite an increase in the average price across the country. Again, this is fueled by, I think, the feel-good factor, the fact that people were still probably buying these houses a year ago and they've gone through with the transactions. So again, like I say, we'll have another look at these in 6 months. I'm hoping the picture doesn't change because I don't want to hear of anyone having a heartache. But I think for the reasons mentioned at the first part of the video, I think these figures are going to read very, very differently in 6 months to a year's time. Anyway, thank you for your time.